Starting. Hold on. Oh, Clare Cunningham, we are live. Clare Cunningham! Wake up, everybody! Tune up, everybody! Tune in! We are the Unsynd, those artists, musicians, and industry professionals who are not waiting for a record deal to do it for us. I have Clare Cunningham live from, I'm going to say Nashville. Is that right?
You are correct. I am live from Nashville. Yes.
Live from Nashville, called out by Allie Sealy, who, by the way, I'm currently addicted to her Periscope performances. Do you know that she's doing that? Have you seen?
Yeah. So she's awesome. I love Allie. She's a great girl. I was just texting her actually to say that I was going on, and she's hopefully gonna maybe pop in to say hi.
Yeah. We were hoping to maybe. I want to organize more stuff like that where we have people popping in. When she got called out by a girl named Ava Page. Do you know Ava Page?
I've seen Ava through a lot of the people in Nashville here. So I actually saw a bit of her interview, and yeah, she's phenomenal. Like, she's a really talented girl. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and I'm not even exaggerating. I bring her up every episode since I interviewed her because she's just going after it so hard. But anyway, she called out Allie, and Allie called out you. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, she did, and thank you very much, Allie, for that. You're such a sweetheart. Because I don't know Allie all that long. I think we both moved to Nashville around the same time. So she's somebody I've really connected with, and when you just have a person that you just on all levels, we're very similar actually mindset. So yeah, it's kind of cool. So she's a great girl. So thank you, Allie.
Yeah, Allie is a go-getter as well. Every once in a while, I meet somebody and I think, man, I don't know if I could keep up with them. And Allie's one of those people. Ava is another one of those people. Like just relentless effort and motivation. Like getting up. That's the thing for me, is waking up every day. And I was just talking about this yesterday. We had a wonderful person, Erin Eads from Kansas City, on here yesterday. She does some great songwriting, great music. But we were talking about how do you get up every day and rediscover that thing, that fire, And some people, I get the impression you're this way too. Some people just have it. You just wake up and you're just like, I'm going after it.
It's in your bones. It's like, it's a passion. And so like anything that anybody is passionate about, you do it for the love of it. It's like, it's not even a job. It's everything. Like, especially in my circumstance, like, music is all I've ever known. It's my baby. Like, it's my boyfriend. It's my baby. It's everything. So, and I know a lot of people always ask, like, how do you do it time and time again? And even with knockbacks, and I've had great success, and I've had like not so great success in other areas. And you just do it because you absolutely love it. Like, you wouldn't do anything else or want to do anything else. Like, if I didn't do music, I'd probably do health and nutrition and fitness. But if I didn't have music, I literally don't know what I would have done.
Yeah. So you mentioned something there that was kind of interesting. You talked about, during the sound check, we were talking about this too, that you used to live overseas and you had a whole thing going over there before you moved to Nashville, right? Yeah. So fill me in a little about that. So what was going on over there?
Yeah, well, basically, so I'm from Ireland originally. If you couldn't tell, although a lot of people guess Canada, that's the number one guess, in Australia, and then other parts of the US. It's strange. I don't know what my accent does for people. Maybe it's on the microphone. But I am from Ireland, born and raised, and then I moved to the UK to study music there. So I went to the London College of Music, spent 3 years in London, and then I moved to Cardiff in Wales. It's still in the UK, and there I spent 5 years. And had a band. We were called Smoking Aces, really 70s classic rock and roll. It was awesome, so much fun. We had original material, but we also went out 7 days a week as a function corporate band, traveling up and down the UK. And then I think it was around April, May, no, maybe later, June of 2013, when I woke up on a random, probably Monday morning or something, and had this voicemail from a girl in Sweden, saying she'd just come across some videos on YouTube. And I hadn't even had a YouTube channel. We literally sat down in our living room, me and Jamie, the guitarist, in the band, and we said, like, let's just pump out some videos. So we pumped out like 30 something videos in an afternoon, and one of which was AC/DC, Highway to Hell. And so she was looking for a particular singer. So she said, on this voicemail, she said, like, you have the whiskey voice we're looking for. So I couldn't actually contact her back, but she was very determined. She contacted me the next day, and I said, look, I'm so sorry, but like, I'm already committed here in the UK, and I had no idea what this band was. And so we spoke, and then she ended the conversation with, have a think, go home, here's our website. They're called Thunder Mother. It's all females. And we're going to open up for Motorhead at Metaltown Festival. And I was like, oh, that's an opportunity that doesn't come around every day. So I went home, did my homework, but I had 3 weeks to make a big decision, and I had to let some bride and grooms down for their weddings. They had booked us 2 years in advance, so I had to kind of make some calls. But I went out to Sweden, and we ended up being on the news channel, the major news channel that night, and it all kicked off from then. And then I spent the next year and a half traveling over and back from the UK to Sweden. And then we ended up getting signed by Warner Music, and we dropped down 2 albums as well. And we just got to tour with so many of my idols and all over Europe. And it was just the best time ever. Like, a lot of hard work, but it was so much fun.
Wow. So, I only have like 1,000 questions from that story.
I know.
That's amazing. So somebody heard, this is what I think you said, somebody heard your voice on YouTube, and they decided, this is the lead voice for my band. I want this person to come sing lead for my band. You said yes. It took you on a crazy adventure that involved getting signed to Warner, you said, right? It was crazy. Touring around. It was just that. It was, and she never met me. They didn't know me. Like, I was this random person from Ireland, and they booked my flights, and I was like, you have a lot of trust. She's like, no, I just know it. You're the singer. So yeah. Jeez.
And I'd never even been to Sweden. So it was just all a massive change for me in my life. And then I ended up moving there. So I lived in Sweden for 5 years then. It was a long process. It was really, like, it was difficult. I sold my house. I sold my car. I literally moved everything back to my parents' place in Ireland. And I lived out of plastic bags for like 6 months until I could get a space. And yeah, it was quite the whirlwind experience.
Well, that's really interesting, though, because so a lot of the conversations I have on Unsynd are with people who have competing priorities in life. They've got work, they've got family, they've got music, they've got, extended family, or just other things that they see as obligations, at least as equal to music.
Yeah.
But then here you are, having you left everything you knew, sold your house. That was less important, right?
Yeah.
you didn't care where you lived. You didn't care like what the living conditions were, living out of plastic bags, you said. You were just like, this is my thing. This is what I'm doing. This is at the top of my hierarchy. It's at the peak. So has that changed for you, or is music still, I mean, if you got a call tomorrow, move halfway across the world, move to Japan, where we need you to be the lead singer in Japan, would that be a thing for you?
Well, actually, it's funny you should ask me that, because during my time in Sweden, YouTube is my, like, people laugh and say it's not that great, but for me, it's been everything. I got a phone call about 2 years ago. No, I didn't get a phone call. I got a message on Facebook from the manager of a band called Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And I was like, I had no idea who these guys were.
I've heard that name somewhere, actually.
Yeah.
They just were in the news.
Yeah, like they're massive in the States. They have they're known as the Christmas band. So they do this like
That's
big
probably why.
Yeah, I'm sure
okay.
it's just in Christmas as well. And so the manager had contacted me and said, we're looking to replace our rock singer. So they have like a 52-piece orchestra. Like, it's ridiculous. It's awesome. And they have 8 singers, but their rock singer had just got signed with Universal. So they needed to replace her. And so she had contacted me on Facebook. They were willing, like, I was living in Sweden at the time. They wanted to fly me out. They were auditioning and stuff, but they were willing to get together my visa, put me on the West Coast tour, and like play in front of 100,000 people a night. And I had to turn it down because we had our own European tour with Thunder Mother. So that was a really, like, that was one moment in life where I was like, oh, I really want to, but it was more the selfish side. However, because we had the tour booked and the girls depended on me, the bands were depending on us, the venues, everything had been booked. So that was hard. But yeah, if a call comes in tomorrow, and you have to weigh up your options too. Now I'm more concentrated on my needs right now, because I've spent the last like 10, 12 years being in bands and being not so much somebody's puppet, but when you're signed and you've had labels and management and everything's done for you, it's kind of like, it's nice now to have some artistic freedom. And America and Nashville is just so saturated with amazing people, and you're just surrounded by a hub of, like, it's ridiculous.
Nashville is nuts. It's so good. Yeah. Just the people there are so good. So, well, that's interesting. So you're probably one of maybe just a handful of people who have been on Unsynd, who have been signed before. And this is one of the confusing points, because I named the show Unsynd, but I never meant for it to only be unsigned guests. I meant for it to be having a conversation about what it's like to be unsigned, and So you have kind of a unique perspective, because you've had all of this management wrapped around you. And so my perspective of it is this: as the Unsynd show grows, the people who get called out, which, by the way, at the end of this show, you get to call out some people of your own. The people who get called out are busier and busier, and that means that I'm starting to hit gatekeepers, basically, and I don't really know what to do about it, because I'm not used to writing to gatekeepers, and I just, it's a different conversation. I'm used to just approaching artists like we're talking now, and just hey, come on my show, kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you get where you have these layers of people in between, and I don't know what that feels like from your point of view. Like, did you feel like a distance from your fan base or anything like that because of the management?
Yeah. No, we always made a point of being the ones that ran our social media. Me being more active on it, because I'm a big people person, and I always believe in truly being and sitting and talking with your fans. So we would actually do things like, we would have, after a certain show that we would have, whether it be on tour or whether it was just a one-off, we always had our merchandise out, and we would go to that table, and until every single last person had a conversation or a picture or an autograph, whatever it was, we made sure that always was on the forefront of everything. Even if it meant getting 2 hours sleep, because and like in Spain, like it was hours. But wow. I believe that it's always so important to have that connection with your fans, because without your fans, you really, like, you can do what you do, but there's no platform to get it out if people aren't sharing it or liking it or buying it. So I make a big point, as much as I can, to respond to every single message I get, and just engage with your audience, and especially even on stage. It always surprises me that certain artists can go out and not even engage with their audience. It's all about them and the show, and I'm just not like that. I want people to feel involved and feel loved, and and just, it's a family, So yeah, we always made a point of making sure our fans had that connection with us, like whether even things like just doing videos for them, and just showing that it's not just a manager that's writing back to them or a generic response. Right. I think that's important.
Yeah, and I guess, just as you get into just sheer numbers of fans, it becomes impossible to write back to every tweet and everything like that. So yeah, that's really interesting. I've been to shows where there was hardly any audience interaction, and I really prefer it when there is. Because like, why come to the live show if not to interact? That's how I feel about it. So
yeah, people pay me. You forget that. I think artists sometimes forget that. They couldn't do that show if it wasn't for the people buying the tickets. So at least make them feel somewhat like important. Even with meet and greets as well. I love artists who still do meet and greets and don't charge an absolute fortune for their fans just to say hi. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of complicated people out there too, and you have to sift through. Like, I know now what is a decent message and what's just either spam or just, obsession based kind of things. But in general, I think, it's just nice to see artists just engage and people like that. People want to feel like, because I think as a fan, people or like what they call groupies, they feel like they know you because you're in the public eye. So it's like when we watch a soap opera or a series, you feel like you know the actor or actress, but they don't know you. But it's, to have some form of a connection on a personal level, I think it's really important. Humans need that. It's a human commodity,
Let's catch up on the comments here a little bit. We have some people in Facebook. So Allie Sealy jumped in. She says hi. I don't know if that means you're available or not, but just, I don't know, give us a little indicator of that at some point. Tom Sardinha, I don't know how to say.
Sardina. Yeah, Tom's a great friend. So Tom I know from my days in Thunder Mother. And Tom, if you actually, you can scout through his page, but he has a tattoo parlor, and he's a tattoo artist. So he's done one on me, but he actually, my face is on Tom. So it's awesome. So you'll have to go check it out.
Wow. That's a super Tom, fan right there.
Face. Yeah. And he's a great guy, such a humble man and really talented tattoo artist. So he's up in New Hampshire. So he's here in the States. So I can see a few people coming in.
Yeah, Ian Cunningham is saying hey from Australia. Agnes Molly says fair play. Riley Murphy is actually, he's gonna potentially come on Unsynd He's a musician. He got called out maybe just yesterday or the day before. But anyway, he's wondering about your favorite songs and also the best. He wants to know the best way to communicate with an audience during a show. So because he says he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't feel like when he's standing up there, like, "Hey, everybody, how you feeling out there?" That's always the one to go to, right? I which I don't even like. How's everybody doing tonight? Duh, we're all here. That's how we're doing tonight. But what do you do for crowd work?
You see, for me as well, I remember when the girls first started, like when we started putting together set lists, and they were like, "So we need you to say this here and speak here," and I was like, "Scrap that, dudes! Like, I am all about feeling people, and it's one of those things you kind of either have it naturally or you don't." So what my suggestion would be, if you don't feel like you're very confident in front of audiences, is just even practice in front of a mirror, or but it's for me, it's just so natural to get on stage and just talk. And I'm a very much, I have no filter, so what you see is what you get, unfortunately. But I'm very I'm not PC. I'm very fun loving, and I think people, if you can make a bit of a joke, but you can also make a joke about yourself too. I think audiences like that. They don't want to see somebody so serious. So now, I know that certain people need maybe a small bit of alcohol or something just to loosen up a bit. So whatever it is, like even if you need to meditate beforehand, or maybe a little bit of whiskey or something that will just loosen up the bones a bit. But I do think, I think if people want to just be engaged. So asking, even just a simple question, how are we all doing out there tonight? And the best thing is, if you get a dull response, like, "We're not in a library tonight. Come on, everybody, make some noise." And then do not continue until people start making noise, because it's like, once one person claps or one person gets involved, it's an energy. We're all energy. So we as humans are, we pass our energies on. So if people see a really nervous, not confident person on stage, they're not going to react. They're going to act similar to that person. So even if he does it and it's fake, even sometimes you have to put it on. Sometimes you're not feeling good, or you're not in the mood, or something in your personal life is taking over your mind space at that time. You just have to let it all go and just put on a face and go out and give it your best. So
I have a quick Paul McCartney story that you just reminded me of. So I went to see McCartney, and the same weekend Neil Young played, so did Bob Dylan, Rolling Stones, The Who, Roger Waters. So it was like this whole lineup, and McCartney started his show, and I just really felt like he was having trouble. Like he just wasn't, I wasn't feeling that energy from him, and I just felt like he was struggling, and it kind of reminds me of what Riley's saying. Like it just seemed like he didn't quite know what to say, know what to do, and maybe he was just having an off night or whatever, because obviously he knows what to do. But Neil Young, about 20 minutes into the show, Neil Young walked on stage with his guitar and just plugged in and was just like, "Man, let's jam." And they just started jamming together, and the whole place lit up, and McCartney's energy level went way up. And then he held it there for the rest of the show. And I don't know if they planned that or not. It sure seemed spontaneous. I mean, it kind of seemed like Young was sitting off to the side thinking like, "Man, he's really struggling up there. I'm going to come up and get this thing fired up." So it was
though to have seen that. Yeah. Cause if you can, it's like being in a band and one person is sick or not feeling it. It's that energy. If you can pass it on, it's funny how just in like a little turn of energies can make a person just so much more
I've done that with my friends too. You know, when I see they're just kind of having trouble getting their momentum up during a performance, you know, I'll kind of catch their eye, you know, like, you want me to come up and we'll do something. And, you know, that's always a fun way to go too. So yeah, Riley, there's a few ideas for you, you know, have a special guest around that you can pull on stage if you need to get things fired up a little bit.
Some people, it depends, maybe if he's solo or he's a band. So a lot of people feel easier, of course, if they feel like they have people behind them, you know, in a band situation, because you're not alone. Whereas, of course, yeah, when you're on your own and it's just you, a guitar, and an audience, like, all eyes are just on you then. So I get that people, it's a nerve-wracking experience for many. And it's not something, you're not born just, you know, performing in front of people. That's something that has to come. But it's a cultural thing too. You know, I come from a culture that's really open and we're all about having fun, and, you know, but that's not to say that every Irish person is a confident person, but you know, but like that, if you can even just have a little bit of fake confidence to get you up to real confidence level, then, and the more you do it, the more confident you get. So the more times you can get on stage, whether it be open mic nights or jam nights, whatever it is, every time you step on stage is another, you know, it's like, it's training, you know, it's like anything. It's, you can't expect to be a bodybuilder and never hit a gym or eat good. So it's a process. And so the more times you do something, the more confident you get in that area. So.
Yeah, I think repetition is probably the biggest thing. I've been thinking a lot. I've been going to a lot of comedy open mics. And the interesting thing about comedy open mics is you have to just stand up there with a microphone and nothing else for the most part. And, oh, hey, Allie's trying to call in. Should we try to do this?
Oh, yeah. She's fully clothed. Oh, damn.
Yeah, I know. Never mind, Allie. Never mind. It's too late now. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to see if this works. Allie, are you there? Okay, yeah. Wait, you're here, but wait, what about... Hang on, let's see if we can get Claire back now. Where did Claire go?
Would I mess up?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Now Claire's gone. Wait a minute. Can we add Claire?
Add people.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to do this here. Wait, maybe I can... That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought I was supposed to do.
Oh, yeah, go back to her and then plus me so that you can hang up with me.
Okay, let me do that. So I'm going to go back to her. I'm resuming the call now with Claire. Okay, Claire, I got you. Now,
yeah, I don't think we can...
Yeah, we can. There's a way to do this here.
Way of like, okay, so beside my picture at the top, I can add a person.
Yeah, I think I can do this with Allie. Hold on here. Let me see if I can find Allie in here now.
Modern technology.
Bam.
I love it.
We're adding Allie. Is this going to work? We're going to find out here in just a sec. See if this is... I don't know if it's going to work. It's calling her. Oh, let's see. Yeah, okay, so Allie joined. So now...
I can hear you.
I feel like I just made it really awkward. Sorry.
No, you didn't. Hold on. We've never tried this before. That's why. Wait, can you two...
There she is. Hey.
Yeah, can you two see each other?
I can see Allie. Can you see me?
I can see Claire and you.
Okay, so the last piece of the puzzle here then is we got to get to where we can see me and Claire and Allie. There we go. We got it. Now the audience can see all of us. Woo!
Wow, that's crazy.
This is a first.
Has had her shower, everybody. So she smells good. I can smell you.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. There's
actually I have to say though, I got a lot out of this conversation because I'm not somebody that grew up in bands. Like I just write songs from the heart.
Yeah.
And actually I always found that I was like a performer and stuff, and I always danced and everything. I'm really outgoing. But for some reason, like when it comes to bands, it gets really awkward. Like it gets really, especially down at Tootsie.
Oh, well, yeah, we've had that conversation, haven't we? Yeah, because it really depends on who you're with as well. Like if you vibe with people, it's one thing, but then sometimes it's just so.
That's what I mean. You're there and you're like, I don't know why, but it's not working right now.
Yeah.
And then it freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie. I've had some like serious like contemplation lately where I'm just like, I've had some doubts about myself, or like then you're just like, I don't know now, you know? It's I don't know.
I get that. And you know what? Some days, that's why I never take any one day just at heart, because some day, like with anything in life, you'll have a good day and then you'll have a bad day, or you'll just not vibe with a certain person. And I used to like get very paranoid if somebody gave me a face.
Yeah,
it's not directed at me. It's just their resting face looks kind of bitchy. So, but it's the same with audiences. Like even when downtown Nashville, like it's there's a great vibe down there, isn't there? But every now and again, you'll come across people and they'll just give you this real standoffish vibe. So you just can't really take that too personally, because if we took everything personally, then we probably
you never know what they're thinking either, because I've had people look like that stony faced look, or just completely unimpressed, or their face is twisted up or whatever, and it ends up they actually did enjoy the show. So you just
you're the ones that'll come up at the end going, "Oh my god,
yes,
it was amazing." You're like, "Well, your face didn't say it at all throughout the whole few hours."
Yeah, that's so true. So, so are you guys both in Nashville right now? Are you in the same town? That's kind of funny.
Are you, Allie? You're here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. So we're not
antibiotics. So I've been like MIA, but this weekend actually I'll be coming back out. So it'll be my first time out since being super sick. Yeah.
I know everybody's been ill, including myself as well. It's been a nasty winter.
Yeah. What the heck?
Speaking of singing health, do either of you use a neti pot or any kind of sinus irrigation thing?
You got your sinuses. You probably do. Do you, Allie? No?
I mean, I have a humidifier. I have this little, I bet you I have it right over here. Yeah. This stuff that I've been trying out, this vocal ease spray.
Oh, yeah. I've got a spray as well. It's actually really good.
Yeah, and it kind of just goes in there and kind of lubricates it a little bit.
I'm telling you, Allie, go on Amazon. Maybe I'll find a link for it and send it to you. But you can buy these sinus rinse things. They look almost like a water pick that you'd use on your teeth. And this is gross, but you spray it up your nose and it comes out the other side, and it cleans out all the gunk in there, which is so good for singing, because you don't want that stuff to get built up in there. And so if you're brave enough to do it, it really can help.
Yeah, I don't really suffer a lot of, especially here, as Ali will tell you as well, and you come from Cali, the allergies down here, everybody's always kind of complaining. I haven't really kind of noticed too much, but then I don't really give much attention if I try and keep a good mindset. But a lot of people suffer here, especially because it's just a basin, and it's one of the worst allergen kind of cities that there are in the States. So yeah, if you're a singer and you can survive Nashville, you're on a roll. You're doing something right.
Have you guys played anywhere together?
Yeah, wasn't it? We didn't have the same rain, but we were in the same.
Oh, yeah.
What was that for again?
The doghouse. We were in
Yeah. It's Young's place. Yeah, up in Mumbrian here. So I think that's when we first kind of.
We met in real life.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah. Well, people float around on the internet all the time, and then you'll be like, oh, I kind of know who that is, and then you meet them in real life. It gets real weird around here.
Yeah. Or people say,
I feel like really creepy. I'm like, oh yeah, I know your songs. Like I've heard them before.
Where it's like, I know you don't know me, but I've like stalked your entire Instagram. And
yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Yep.
This is kind of an interesting conversation. Yeah, like two strong women in music, and you're each doing like independent things, trying your own ways. I'm really curious to like contrast the two approaches. So like Allie, you're on Periscope. I feel like it's twice a day, Allie. I see that thing pop up, and I'm just like, I gotta go see what she's doing. Like, I'm hooked. I was telling Claire before you came on, like, I'm addicted to your Periscope thing, and I'm so glad that you told me about it. But like, Claire, what are you doing to like put yourself out there? Are you trying all that social media stuff too, or what's your plan? Yeah,
like I love social media, so I'm a bit of a queen on that too, but I'm probably not like Allie with that. But I do the Instagram. I have Twitter connected with Instagram. I don't bother with the Twitter like on its own. I do have Facebook, like a personal page, and then a like page, and I have a YouTube channel. I think I have a LinkedIn, whatever it is. Reverbnation, and then all the music platforms like Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Apple, you name it. Like if it's a platform, I'm pretty much. But I'm looking to do some more things like that, because I think nowadays people like to have that engagement, like and more regularly too.
So do you think having come from like having a label and having all that support and everything, where you're just kind of instantly everywhere at once, coming from that to having to do it yourself and stoke your own fire, as they say, do you feel like you're able to get traction on social media? Because I know pretty much everybody I talk to is really scratching their heads over like, how do I make any of this work for me? How do I stand out or whatever? And like, what do you think it takes to get noticed on your own?
I think it takes a lot of determination and drive and activity. Like people want activity to a point where you're not oversaturating them though. So I pick and choose what I do, especially on Facebook, because I know that's where the biggest audience is because I have to remember, like, I have people in a lot of different countries who follow. So I tend to try and not put up pictures of my dinner, for example. Like I make it just so that it's music based. And then I think it's just making sure that if you have shows that people know where you're playing, letting and doing like a few live feeds every now and again so people actually see the person. And things like this are great. This is why I was like, this is awesome, because people go on the YouTube and then see you as a person, as a real person speaking, and it's not just sitting down to generic questions. It's it's off the cuff. So just being active and just making sure that you're quality over quantity sometimes is what I would suggest.
We're getting some requests for songs. Should we?
Oh, yeah?
Should we play some? Should we play some songs?
Oh God, yeah.
So Claire, for the uninitiated, I've got you on Spotify here. What song would you recommend for introducing people to your music?
This is where I'm like, I'm such a mess online. So the first song that you're going to see on Spotify is one you might not be able to pronounce, but it's called Éireann na mCrí, and it means Ireland in my heart. So that's my like Celtic kind of folky side. But then like I don't really write a whole lot of country. I did Whiskey Talks was something I wrote because I was like, I want to move to Nashville and write a country song. So that's that. But then I have an array. I'm a rocker though. So but a lot of the stuff I've been doing lately is more like pop influence, pop bluesy kind of stuff. So it's just a minefield. And then, of course, Thunder Mother, when I was in Sweden, that's like heavy classic 70s rock and roll, like AC/DC vibe. So it's just, some people get a little bit confused. But yeah, I think if you want to hear the true Irish kind of very,
like if you had to shoot a song into space and you could only choose one for the aliens to hear, which song would you choose?
From my Spotify, I would choose Erin and McCree, because it's not everybody does that style, and it's kind of like that's where my heart is, But then I'm such a rocker though, so I love like really belting out a good like heavy classic rock, because that's another thing as well. Like when people say, to separate, especially here in Nashville, because a lot of everybody sounds kind of very similar. So when somebody has a different kind of style, you'll agree with this, Allie, like, or they have something different about them, you do tend to stand out a little bit more. So it's good to use that to your advantage too, which I've realized since coming to Nashville. Because there are so many amazing people here. It's incredible.
Well, and while we have both of you on and have a rare chance to, like compare notes like that, that's kind of what I'd like to do for this interview. But I do want to introduce people to your music too. So let's spin a little of this one that I can't pronounce, and then we'll see where we go from there.
I spent away year on year.
There's a ton of people in the comments while we're listening to this.
By day, I'll take with me fine memories, dear Erin's Isle. In my heart you'll always be. Erin Imogri, Erin Imogri. Do you cry for the absence I've left behind? For when I dream about the days gone by, missing you out on that long high road. Dear Erin's Isle, lead me back home. Can you hear it calling in the wind? Voices of our wildest thin, far away o'er Atlantic seas. Dear Erin's Isle, in my heart you'll always be. Erin Imogri, Erin Imogri. That you gave is all I'll ever need. Far distant cry from you to me. And if you don't receive my call, please always know I'm never gone. You can see who she's become today. Blue-eyed, weary, and unafraid. But a part of her will always be in the green, green grass of that wee county. Erin Imogri, Erin Imogri. Of all the time I have spent away, year on year, day by day, I'll take with me fine memories, mockery, Aaron in 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 mockery.
Claps, they're amazing.
Everybody loves that. Wow. You know, I love songs that are just simple, you know, like a vocal guitar vocals, just, you know, just that, like that simple acoustic stuff is kind of my favorite style of all. It's just, it's so naked.
Or like the piano as well, like just a piano, because I'm a piano player, and nothing is like take Ed Sheeran, for example. Like, he can just get up on stage in an arena, just him and a guitar, a couple of loops and shit, but like he literally just, that's it. There's just, it's the natural, like, raw talent. You know. Yeah.
I say that so frequently that I feel like if you can't do it with just a guitar and your voice, go back and work harder. Because, you know, if you're counting on fireworks or, you know, flames shooting up or just launched out of cannons or whatever, like, that's all really cool stuff and it's fun to do. But I don't think it replaces just the simplicity of just like, here I am, you know, like that human connection. So that's why I really like that that kind of music. And as others have already said, you've got that voice, girl. Now I know why somebody wanted you to move to a different country, just to get your vocals.
Voice, so they wanted the whiskey voice, so that's the other side.
Yeah,
but yeah, completely. I understand where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, you've got that strong delivery. So yeah, and you know, both of you have really strong voices. I think that's definitely one of the distinctive qualities.
Go check it out, seriously.
Yeah, Allie, throw a link into the comments, by the way, just so people can check you out if they don't already know who you are. So
subscribed to your YouTube because I wasn't already.
Oh, you did? What, to whose? To Claire's?
To Claire's, yeah. I was like, oh, let me get that real quick because she was talking about it. I was like, oh, anyway.
Yeah, everybody who's listening, if you wander into some links of these two that you like, please share them in the comments, and that way we can kind of get all the bases covered between us. So both of you are living in Nashville now, which is that just awesome songwriter central kind of place. What are each of you like pursuing solo careers, or are you more open than that, or like Claire, what's going on with you? And then Allie, what are you trying to do?
I'm solo now. So the plan is, and I've had some meetings and stuff, but this is the year that I'm looking to do like publishing now. Probably maybe get a manager. I don't know. We'll see. I'm taking it step by step here, but this, for me, if I ever have a band again, it's not going to be a band. It's just going to be touring musicians, so that I can get my material maybe out there and just continuing to co-write. Because Ali will tell you as well, this is the time for writing. But solo is my protocol right now. Yeah. What about you, Ali?
Yeah, I'm pretty open-minded. I love writing, and I put my music out there. I don't ever record a cover and then publish a cover like on iTunes. Like, I would never do that. You will never video, like, search for me on iTunes and then it'll be like a cover song. That, like, I don't know. So that's just personally like what I'm doing currently. I'm just trying to get better as a musician, because I feel like I'm just an artist first and a writer, and I just sing with lots of soul, and I just really have been studying a lot more than concentrating on where I'm going to end up. I don't know. So
yeah.
I try to do everything I can, but I also think that it's important to like what you're doing, because I didn't leave my normal, as people would call it, life, to go feel like a slave to something. It's no, I'm going to like what I do. So that's kind of at the top. But I want to let you guys go because I don't want to impose on Claire's interview, but I appreciate you guys having me on.
It's been awesome.
And I hope we get together. I know we'll get together soon. So
we've been talking about writing as well, haven't we? Yeah. So I think somebody had commented saying, how do we know each other and have we collaborated? Well, we know each other from the town, but we're going to collaborate. That is something we are definitely about to do. So yes. 2019, here we come.
Yay.
Awesome.
Much love, Claire. You rock.
You do too, honey, and I'll see you downtown.
Yeah.
Allie, thanks for stopping in. This was fun. This was the first time on Unsynd that I've been able to do this. Have two guests on at the same time. So this was awesome. Thanks for doing that.
First time for everything.
Is it your birthday?
What?
Did you say it's your birthday?
No, I said first time for everything.
Oh, I was I thought at the end.
If anybody wants to know, it is my birthday too.
Oh God. Okay. All right. See you guys later.
Awesome.
Love you. Bye.
Happy birthday. Bye.
All right. Cool. Back to just the two of us. That was super fun. I've never done that before.
Yeah. Well, now you can do it. So, you can have.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about ways to, figure out who called out who and to let them know when they're going to be on, so we can get people together and kind of celebrate like that.
It's nice to do it that the person who shouts you out, if you can get them on, that's kind of cool, because then it's, because Allie shouted me out and that's the reason why I'm here. So it's kind of cool to have her come in and so it's a good idea.
Yeah. I love the whole shout out thing. That's to me way better than me trying to pick all the guests myself, because
that would be so time consuming as well,
Well, and I think it's I'm starting from a place of I don't necessarily know the answers of who's doing interesting stuff and who's got something going that should be talked about. I don't always know. So so it's just good to hear everybody's perspectives. All right. So how long ago did you move to Nashville, by the way?
Oh, I moved here in May 21st. So, I actually entered the States. So, being from a different country, you have to have a visa, of course, to get into America. There's many different types of them. But I'm on what's called the O1 artist visa. So it allows me 3 years here. So I came in February and I moved to Nashville then in May. So it was actually so funny because the night before I moved, there was a massive storm and thunder and lightning storm. And there was a tree right outside of my bedroom, which I'm in now. 75-year-old tree. Been there obviously for 75 years, and the lightning came and struck it in half. So when I arrived to move in, the tree was literally it was like a forest in the garden. So I was really lucky, because had it been the night before that I moved, I would have, I don't think some of the flights had been cancelled and stuff. But yeah, I live here since May. And it's amazing. I just live off. Have you been to Nashville?
Yeah. I ran a local chapter of NSAI. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Well, it's just down the road from where I live. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I didn't know at the time, but organizing a chapter of NSAI kicks open a lot of doors in Nashville. I could walk in almost anywhere and say oh yeah, I run the NSAI chapter in Reno, and everybody would be like, oh, come on in. Do you have a ride? Do you have a place to stay? I don't know that's why they were doing it, but it's pretty great.
But it's that kind of, I think if you're anyway involved with anything that's an association to help people. I think that's, people really love that here, you know, and you have a lot of, like the NSAI, which for anybody tuning in who doesn't know it, it's the Nashville Songwriters Association. And it's just for anybody who's kind of new to town, everyone had suggested I do it. So it was actually my sister and her husband bought me the membership for the year. So thank you, Laura and Chris. And yeah, it's been helpful. You know, you get a lot of good feedback from song evaluations. You can actually go down, like, because I'm only down the road, and the whole workshops and stuff like that. So it's a great tool just to have if you're coming here. So if you've been involved, with that, and in different chapters that they have around the US, it's fantastic because it means you don't have to be in Nashville either to use the benefits of it, you know. Right. Yeah, NSAI is a good organization. The other one I like is called Taxi, TAXI.com. And it's a different type of organization, but also really good for just, you know, if you're writing music and wanting to get industry connections and things like that. Those are both good organizations. But anyway, yes, I've been to Nashville, did Tin Pan South there a couple years in a row. Yeah. And so now coming to Nashville, you're just 6 months into it. Have you found, were any of your previous connections and experience sort of transferable into Nashville, or do you feel like you're starting like everybody does? Yeah, I am. I'm a brand new chicken into the hen, you know. It's I'm very fortunate because all my fans have followed my career. So I have the fan base out in Europe. But when you move somewhere, like I have done each time to a new place, you have to get used to the new environment that's around you, the people around you, because they don't know who you are. You know, new tax systems, even driving on the wrong side of the road. And I had to do my driving test all over again. And, you know, so you have all of that on top of trying to, you know, start a career again. But I'm working so hard, like harder than I've ever done before. Like, I'm a hard worker, like a go-getter. I'm a driven person. It's just in my bones. But people have been like, you need to slow down, like take a rest. I'm like, no, successful people don't take rest. Not until they have to, you know. So yeah, in a way I've had to, kind of start all over again. And like even people here, some of my friends are like, how come you've never mentioned your past? Like, oh my God. And I'm like, well, I don't want my past to define what I am now either. Like, it's great that I've had it. But, you know, I want to show people that I'm not going to use anything that I've had, because I haven't really been able to use like connections as much as I thought maybe I would. So I'm just getting myself out there and showing people that, you know, I'm here for real, and I'm working hard. So, you know, I'm just doing what I can. Yeah, it is weird too. I've found this in a lot of different corners of life. Everybody's just barely hanging on to like you'd think that somebody could do a lot for you if you only met the right person or something like that. And I know people say that all the time. They say it's who you know and blah, blah, blah. But I really think, I mean, just because you made a good record before or you had something going on before doesn't mean that you can necessarily duplicate that or that you can help anybody else figure out how to get their thing down the road. I think the who you know adage, what makes sense to me anyway, is opportunity and preparation meet, right? There's an intersection of opportunity and preparation. And there are certain points in time where knowing the right person at the right time, plus you're prepared for it, and like everything just lines up and boom, something happens, right? Yeah. And the only thing I ever know to tell people is you have to be there when that moment occurs. You have to continue showing up. You have to make that your goal every day, to show up and be there when that opportunity happens. And you know, like, you said something that really resonated with me there, because I listen to a lot of entrepreneurial like podcasts and different like success tips and stuff. And somebody said, don't wait for something to come along and then prepare. Be prepared. So always be prepared to, you know, when the phone calls and you get an opportunity to go somewhere, you can go. And, or, you know, if I've gotten like, even when Trans-Siberian Orchestra and stuff, I'd shouted out and she needed a video of a song like that I'd never heard within a day, I made that my priority. You have to, you know, you just have to be prepared. And yeah, it's definitely a crossroads of like, who you know is one thing, but like, here's the thing. You can have a door open for you, but it's up to you to keep that door open. So, you know, that's always been my kind of thing. And I always think like sometimes people know the right people and they may not be the most talented people, or they're not the nicest of people. They won't be successful because, you kind of have to do the work. You don't just get handed, you know, a record deal and that's it. You sit back and watch the fruits of your labor. Like it's hard work, and you have to be driven, and you have to utilize everything that you have to your potential. So there's a lot of that. A bit of luck every now and again. Yeah, you can be in the right place at the right time, but I truly believe what's meant for you will be. So I'm
I've kind of taken that attitude as well. I try not to worry about shaping opportunities, meaning I try not to think too hard about making an opportunity happen for myself. Instead, I focus on what I can do, which is improve my own skills, improve my own mental outlook, which is, you know, that's a big one for me. You know, it's very easy for me to get discouraged about stuff, and Unsynd is my little case study of that. You know, I do episode after episode, and if I go too long between episodes, between talking to people like you, I'll start wondering like, oh, why was I doing this? What's the point? And, you know, that kind of stuff. So I have all these little tricks to keep myself motivated and to keep moving forward. But the only thing I really know is you have to show up. And what I mean by that is be prepared, right? Because if you show up somewhere and you're not prepared, it does no good. And if you're prepared and you don't show up, it doesn't do any good. So when I talk about showing up, I'm saying like you have to be there and be ready. And then still, maybe for years, nothing happens. But that one chance will come along and you'll be there and you'll be the person in that moment. And that's the right time for you. So
absolutely. Yeah. And you have to believe it too. I think a lot of people, like you look at Annie, like I'm a big, you know, law of attraction kind of follower, and I've always kind of just had the mindset like you know, you just be prepared, but just know that it is going to happen, but you can't force things either. So you have to allow things sometimes to flow. And I do believe it's a good thing to get setbacks and things not work out the way you think it should be, because perhaps it's not the right thing for you at that time, you know. So I think a lot of people get disheartened, and that's why they give up. And when people always say to me, "Oh, never give up," I'm like that's not even an option. Like it wouldn't even cross my mind to wake up one day and think music. No, because had I done it when I was in the UK, there was times I questioned, like, "Oh my God, you know, I should be getting a real job," and then I get the biggest opportunity of my life just on a phone call, and I took that, and that's what spiraled into what I have now. And you know, you have to be persistent, but you have to, like Allie said there as well, you have to want to like what you do, because if you don't, then you're never gonna stick at it. So yeah, there's a weird you talked about law of attraction.
and for some people that's like a little too metaphysical, right? They just can't they can't get there. And here's what I would say to those people. I would say law of attraction is something akin to praying. And I think if I had to try to explain it with science, I would say that sitting down and really thinking through what matters to you and what you're seeking, in life, having some clarity about that opens you to the opportunities that are around that you might otherwise miss. You might not even see them. Yeah. So it could just be that we're wearing blinders most of the time, and that the law of attraction or the action of prayer helps to remove those blinders so that we can see all of the opportunities right in front of us. So I just wanted to offer that for people that might not be all the way there. I'm there with you, by the way, but
yeah. Oh, and I get that. So certain people, I even had a conversation with my friends yesterday, and he was kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure. I know it exists and stuff. And I said, you know what? I think we just as humans, it's working all the time because, it's an energetic kind of thing. And it's just how open we are sometimes to opportunities. And it's like Jim Carrey said, though, he used to drive past the house he now owns or whatever, or in the car, he used to picture the car he's driving. But he said something, and it was really funny. It's like, you can't just visualize something and sit down on your couch and eat a sandwich. Like, you have to still work. And I think that's what separates people who are driven and not. You can ask and receive, but you need to always be working and be prepared, like you said. So there's a certain amount of that.
Yeah, the whole God helps those who help themselves kind of expression. Yeah. Well, I love all that stuff. And the other one that I've been studying a lot in the last, say, 5 years is the art of surrender. And what I mean by that is we can get spread so thin by chasing in too many different directions. And if we can be surrendered to the path we really believe in, the path we've really chosen for ourselves, and surrender or resign ourselves to that and say, this is what I'm doing, this is what matters to me, this is what I'm about. That has a power of its own. When you surrender and you stop pushing and you look for opportunities to serve instead of get for yourself, it really seems like things, it's very magical. I don't know, I can't explain how it works, but things really open up, and the opportunities that you've been chasing forever start coming to you instead. It's a really weird inversion. I don't know why it works that way, but I've seen it over and over again.
And giving is receiving. And I think, like that, I think for every good deed that you kind of do, not to get like really deep into it, but, it's like a domino effect. It's like, even if you smile at somebody and they smile back. And so if you do something good for somebody, they will hopefully do something good for somebody else. And so therefore it's really important that you're kind of keeping an environment that's kind of positive and just, well, that's me anyway. I'm very I'm all about that, and I've received, by the way, I just have I'm not going to name any names, but I have had so many people in my life right now who've helped me here, especially to get to where I am in Nashville. And and a couple of things that each of those people who helped me said was, well, look, I don't want anything in return. I just want you to do the same for somebody one day. And that's going to forever be on my mind, because I think, it's just, and they didn't want anything for it. They just want to help. And a lot of people are like that in this town. And that's why when people ask, why Nashville? And because I really, part of me, I have already visualized my home in LA, and I have my grand piano, and I have it actually on my dream board right here. But initially I thought, LA or Nashville, because LA is more like weather wise, nutrition wise, fitness, the music. I love all of that, and it has a beach. But I knew that Nashville is an easier place to kind of have as a hub, because people are just so open and friendly and welcoming here. And so anybody who ever wants to, diverse away from where they are and wants to have a career somewhere else, this is definitely a great starting point anyway.
You said you have a dream board, like or a vision board, some people call it. Yeah. Like what kind of stuff, you don't have to say, but like what kind of stuff can you share that's on your dream board?
I'm gonna redo my one. Well, so I had two. So I had one before I moved to the US, and it had a picture of the US flag. It had a picture of my visa. It had a picture of what else? I had different things that are on this one as well. So I have my home that's going to be on LA. In LA, the front of it, I'm looking out over the beach. I've got my grand piano in the middle of the room. I've got like my followers, so I try and like visualize, like, when you get to like 1 million followers and have it like written down. I have a very nice picture of who I hopefully will be with as a dude.
Is it George Clooney?
No, it's not George Clooney. I don't even know who this person is. It's just some random guy. God love him. So weird.
Some Instagram model. I got it.
That's why I'm not going to take it down and show anybody on the internet. But I have actually, and a picture of a nice little sports car there. But I have the Grand Ole Opry and a CMA award. I might change them up a bit now, because I'm not really, I really realised since coming to Nashville, I'm not your typical country artist. Like, I thought maybe to come here, I should really delve into the country side of things, which I've got a couple of songs, but since coming here, I really realised that, I need to, like everybody says, Stevie Nicks, Janis Joplin, that's the kind of vibe, or Melissa Etheridge, and I get the same thing said a lot, so I'm just, I think I need to be more mindful.
Well, I think people, the first thing they think is country when they hear Nashville, but there's so much going on in Nashville outside of country. I think you could have a great career, or at least launch a great career in Nashville that doesn't have anything to do with country necessarily.
Not at all. Yeah.
I kind of had the same experience when I went there, which was, I came to Nashville, took my songs to Nashville, played my songs for people, and kind of realized, I don't think country radio is really my thing, No.
That's funny about Nashville. Nashville will make you realize what you actually are.
Yes.
Not what. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, it's good to know that. So now I don't worry about it so much.
I know. Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. You totally understand. Because I'm writing so much more like the pop, R&B kind of stuff with beats, and I think it's definitely more open to more diverse styles, because you have a lot of people who are from all over living here. So there is a massive influence of all these different styles. Yes, if you want to be a country music artist and be on the radio, then there's definitely a bigger niche for it here, of course, because it's the home of it. But you don't necessarily have to adhere to all things country to be here. And I can attest to it, and I know anybody I write with, none of us are country artists. I don't think I've really sat down with many country writing artists either, because that's a whole different form of writing. Like, so that's why, like, when I write the pop stuff, it's very, like, it's all about repetition and simplicity, whereas country, it's all about the setting, the story, and then the rock stuff, it's just like, it's driven. Once it sounds like it's a beefy kind of, 4-chord, like, classic sounding, it's like, lyrically, you can kind of get away with not having, you don't have to have the who, what, where, why, and when kind of thing. So it's just, each style is so diverse, but there's a lot of diversity here, which is great.
Well, I like the visions that you put or the dreams that you put on your dream board, because how do I say this? They're all very, it's very much in your control whether you achieve those things or not. So an example of something that maybe wouldn't be in your control is if you had a picture of a whole arena full of people cheering for you, right? Like, that's external validation. And it's I learned this when I made my vision board, which is if you fill it up with pictures of things that require external validation, it's a lot harder to achieve those things than if you have a picture of something up there that you can do on your own, right? Where just
that you can actually achieve yourself,
right, under your own power, that doesn't require acceptance by somebody else. So I think you have some pretty smart goals on your board. And
speaking of goals, I have a list of actual goals as well. Well, they're in the mirror there, but I actually try and every year have actual written out goals and try and read them before bed, or just little sayings that I'll see daily, because I know maybe nobody listening in is even interested in this kind of stuff. I just, it's all I consume myself with. But I even affirmations. I listen to daily affirmations. People always say, how are you so energetic and always positive? But it's because I surround myself with that kind of thing. So the first thing I do before my phone goes on when I wake up in the morning is I meditate. So I have a certain frequency. I listen to a healing frequency, and then I listen to just 3 minutes. That's all it takes, is 3 minutes of affirmations, and saying them. And our brains, it takes between 21 and 28 days for things to actually absorb into your subconscious. So they even did studies with space, up in space, where they had astronauts turned upside down for I think it was 21, 22 days, and their brain started seeing the right way around after 23, 24 days, because our brains naturally, we have neuropathic pathways, hence why you can pretty much change your way of thinking, or why cognitive behavioral therapy works on people, because it's how you change the pathways in your brain. So hence why writing, reading, and it's why the doctors always prescribe a month's medication, because it takes 1 month for your brain to, we're regenerating all the time. So it's,
I want my brain to stop eating junk food. That's my thing. I want my brain to stop eating junk food and to love exercise more. Yeah.
You can speak about that. I'm all about that.
Those two things would be my top two choices. Well, you mentioned sound healing. A guy named Josh Stoddard popped into the comments for just a second, and he used to be signed, and he was in some rock band, he was going all around doing, being crazy. He's turned completely to sound healing. All he does now is tour around and do sound healing. He goes to yoga studios or just wherever he can, set up, and he's got he's got an electric guitar, and I think he has some backing tracks on his iPod or something. And then he has, a few other drums and things like that, acoustic stuff. And I did one of his sound baths. And
did you?
Oh yeah, and it was amazing. Just laying there, just somehow, even though I knew he was at my head, I felt like the sound was just coming at me from every direction. He just filled the room with sound. And I'm trying to get him on Unsynd, because he's
oh my god, let me know when he is, because I learned about this just through the different meditation tapes I do, but there's certain sound frequencies that can heal illnesses, whatever way it resonates with our brain. There's one I listen to it every day. It's 528 hertz, and it's just this basically it's just a sound frequency that's coming in, and it has the power. They used it. It's an ancient Greek thing that they used many, many, many moons ago to like cure cancers and stuff like that. But you know, because our brains are fed, like whatever you feed it with, it absorbs, whether you think it is or not. So that's why it's kind of really important to keep yourself surrounded by positivity. And
well, those ancient meditation chambers resonate at certain frequencies as well. So I mean, there's a sound healing is a thing. I've been reading some books about it as well, and it's kind of the reason I've stopped writing songs lately is because I feel more drawn in that direction. Like I want to create some sound healing and you know, meditative kind of stuff, and it's a different style completely for me, but that's really what I'm drawn to. And there's a guy on YouTube called Chords of Orion, and I forget his name, but this is something fun that people can do also, by the way. If you see somebody on YouTube, you can just, and you like what they're doing, you can write to them, and chances are they might be willing to write back and teach you some stuff. So I did some Skype lessons with this guy, and he does ambient guitar. So everything he plays is just these swells and different chords and tones. And I thought, I want to know how to do that and make it part of the sound healing that I'm doing. So anyway, I've got a whole sound healing project going on.
Either you put it on the comments, or I must get it off you, because that's really intriguing.
Yeah, and I don't think he really emphasizes the healing aspect, but just producing ambient guitar sounds is kind of his thing, and he loves doing it. And so I've been piecing it together, but I'll link to Josh Stoddard and to Chords of Orion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to check it out.
I love all that stuff, and just things about reconfiguring the mind, like you were saying. One of the things I noticed about you, like this is episode whatever, 137, 138, 138. So you win the prize for most emails exchanged prior to the interview. And I'm not saying that in a demeaning way at all. In fact, I was talking to my partner just before I came in here, you know, and I said, hey, this girl today, she's serious about it, and like I better not like miss this episode or something, because she's treating this as seriously as I do, which is kind of unusual, you know. I
loved it. Just like, I know nobody else is going to know this, but the way even to sign up for it was amazing, because you have to go through a process of a form filling, and I thought, God, this is my kind of stuff. I love organization, and so you're so organized, so you have everything laid out and done, and it was just very easy to follow. And I knew it was a serious kind of. It's not serious as in what we do now. We're just, you know, having a good chat. But I knew it was, you put a lot of thought into this. And so I got that. But I've had it before where like, I've been in situations where then like, it didn't work, and then you couldn't get on time. And I'm true to my word. So if I tell people I'm going to do something at this time, then that's what I mean. And I wouldn't want to mess something up for either.
Yeah. That's the impression I got, but as well, what stuck with me was, it wasn't just a flurry of emails in one day. It was consistent, meaning you had that same attitude every day. And that's what told me, okay, this person right here, we have something to talk about. Because when she comes on, like, how do you bottle that up? And we're getting to it now. You're saying you wake up in the morning. First of all, you turn your phone off at night. That's
goes on airplane mode. You will not contact me when I'm asleep. There's 2 times in one day you'll never get me. That's when I sleep and when I train. So I believe, because I'm very social media based, and I'm constantly, like, messages are coming in and I'm surrounded by it, There are times when you need to switch off. I believe when you sleep, that's sleeping time. So no noises and I have earplugs, so anything could go on in this house and I wouldn't hear a pop.
Fire alarms, whatever.
Trust me, it's happened where people are like, did you not hear it? And I'm like, earplugs. So, and when I train, training for me, I'm massive into my fitness and health. And so I believe if you can just spend 1 hour, not even an hour, you don't even have 15 minutes, whatever it is, that to me is relaxation time. I put on my headphones, I'm immersed in my music, and I go for it. So I don't want to be distracted because the rest of my life is full of distractions. So it's nice just sometimes, even when we used to tour, I know there was places in Germany, like we'd rock up and we wouldn't have Wi-Fi, and we'd panic for about a minute, and then we were like, wow, now we have to actually talk to each other and, engage in what we have around us rather than be so saturated with all this social media.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit, like, I'm a bit addicted to it. You're constantly like, but then our lifestyle is very much involved in emailing and social media and being present. So, yeah, in a way, I'd love to go off for 2 weeks, but it's not always so possible.
You want to hear something kind of amazing? I woke up sometime, maybe a little bit before Christmas. I woke up one day and I just felt no need to check Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or any of that. Haven't been doing it ever since. I don't know what happened, but just something clicked. I literally just woke up and was like, I don't think I need to do that ever again. And so I live stream to Facebook, and I hang out in the comments here, and I do that part. I make sure that because it's part of the business or the growing thing that you have. Right. But as far as what my friend Cameron Landers from high school is doing today, no more. And I love the guy. But it's true. Or you end up on somebody's page you don't even know, and you're like, how did I even get here? And for me as well, like I'm over here doing my music, and then all I see is everybody getting engaged or getting married and having babies and having houses. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because if I was to follow what everybody else is doing, that's exactly what I'd be doing right now. And so sometimes it's almost like Allie said, you sometimes question, like, oh God, like, but you need to be your own, and you need to just, if you wake up and that's how you feel, you just go for it. You can't have anybody tell you should do this and what, you can take direction from people, but I think inevitably, in order to be successful as well, you need to kind of listen to yourself and be happy, being happy, and you do. There's no amount of success. I try to. The measuring stick I try to use for this show is I try to create a show I would want to listen to, and I would want to watch. That's my first and kind of only measuring stick. Because I certainly would not want to be involved in this if it wasn't something I liked, I wouldn't want to do it. So it has to come from me and be true to me. And other than that, I'm open. And a lot of people have come in and lent support in various ways. And it's really been awesome. And I think it's because there's something genuine about the show, it really, it is unscripted. Yeah, sure. And it's an artist to artist conversation. It's just the kind of thing I would have loved to listen to when I was first getting started in music, wondering like, how are all these people doing whatever they're doing, and what are they doing, and what's working and what isn't working, and how do you stay focused every day? So you're huge into fitness. You're huge into let's call it mental health, not like therapy, but clearing yourself daily and making space for so I definitely want to lean on you for some inspiration in those areas. because I stall out very easily when it comes to especially like working out or something.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on the whole phone thing. I have mine actually set up. My phone will, it's on a schedule from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. It goes automatically into that do not disturb mode. Yeah. And I have a certain very few family members on the contact list who can punch through that, you know, like they're on the emergency, whatever.
Yeah.
And that has worked so great because, you know, then I don't stress about it. I wake up in the morning and, you know, I check, see if anybody's texted then, but it's like, how critical is it really? You know, like somehow we survived for millions of years
without it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you give a human something, and they get addicted to it, which is in general, like, you know, I'm a very addictive kind of personality anyway. But you the more you get and the more you receive, the more you want. And so it's hard to retract away sometimes, even like just going out, like I should do it more, but just going out to nature and just, you know, just switching off. That's why it is really important just to, you know, especially if you have a busy schedule, and especially musicians who tour and we're writing, and creative people, I'm sure you'll agree, we're not your average person, and we're never going to be. We don't think like the average person, and we don't have a schedule. And yes, I'm a night owl, and people tell me I should go to bed earlier. I come to life at night. I'm a vampire, really. There you go. But yeah, it's, you know, people will always think they know the best for you. You know the best for you, and you just have to be able to, you know, work around. Once nobody's getting harmed in the process, I believe that if you follow your own and you feel good with what you're at and you're doing, then, you know, that's where you're going to be successful, because you're not saturating yourself with everything or what you should be doing or what everybody else is doing. So that's why I'm guilty of not reading papers and watching news, and I just want to be surrounded by positivity, and that's where I want to set up, because, you know, you can't write songs if you're in a really, well, you can write songs if you're in the depressing mode. They sometimes can give you really good inspiration, but, you know, in order to be creative and you want to be a good person around people, I don't want to feel like I'm a burden on anyone. So, you know,
I think maybe part of being creative is we're very, I don't want to call it like oversensitive, but we're definitely tuned into what's going on, maybe more sensitive than other people, because I don't do news. I don't do news at all. It's just like it's too toxic to me, you know.
Toxic. It is toxic.
Yeah, and so I have to be careful about like what I let in. I guess that's what I'm saying, and I think that's, to your point, is one of the things artists can do to make their lives better is be more mindful about what's being let in to their minds and their bodies, I think. And you were talking about oh shoot, it's slipping away from me now, but anyway, just this whole topic of how we get ourselves going every day, what we let into our lives. Oh, I know what it was. It was the that feeling you get of they call it FOMO. Have you heard that? That's kind of an American expression.
Somebody mentioned this to me before. What is it again? Because I've heard this saying.
FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes. Somebody only said it to me the other day. Oh God, what was it? I think we were on about our. It was a family member, I'm sure it was, and they were like, "Oh, it's FOMO." Yeah, it was. I think it was. Yeah. Fear of missing out. I only literally heard this the other day.
Well, and it's really weird because there's such a powerful narrative. I don't know if it's this way in other parts of the world, but in the United States, we have such a powerful narrative for what your life is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to go, what you're supposed to be doing by a certain age, on and on and on, as you know, especially, well, I think there's a man version of it and there's a woman version of it, so like what you're supposed to be doing is not the same as me, but we both feel this kind of like expectation. And you were talking about you don't keep a schedule. Like, Claire, most days I don't know what day it is. I really don't. And
I know.
And I tell people that is one of my metrics of success. If I know what day it is, something has gone wrong. Other than, like I say, I need to know like when I'm doing an interview on a certain day. But like even right now, like I don't know what I can honestly tell you. I don't know what day it is. I think it's probably Wednesday. Okay, I was right. It's Wednesday. Yeah. So I sort of reject a lot of that convention, but there's the whole find your partner, get married, get kids, buy the house, do the thing with the car and this, whatever. And that sort of, story, right? Yeah. Do you find, is that a uniquely American thing, or?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that's definitely from the different cultures I've lived in. There's high expectations as well in other countries. To have, by the time, realistically, me being the female that I am now at the age I'm at, I should already have like probably 3 kids or something. And it's like, it was never in my, I'm not that way inclined right now. My career it's just always been my number one. So people, you'll always get the typical response like, oh, but are you not worried, or are you? No, I'm not, because I'm happy. I'm here. I'm doing what I want to do. So it's the same with the tattoos. Oh, will you regret that? Well, if I do, tough, but I won't, because I'm not the type of person who does something without thinking it through. I think even in Ireland and the UK, there are certain expectations by the time you've reached it. But hey, listen, I did it all when I was a bit younger. I owned a house, I had a business, I had everything in the social, expectation. Mm-hmm. And was I happy? Partly, but, I don't think having these box things and the perfect life on the outset, it may look like people are happy, but I think 90% of people are actually really unhappy and are too scared to do anything about it. So, therefore they like to chip away at people who are, I think it's something like 3 or 4% of entrepreneurs live outside the box. And like when people say, not so much now, I think I've proven that, you don't have to have the 9 to 5 to be happy or successful. But I'm sure people questioned Einstein, and said he was a bit weird. And, like successful people are different. They've got a different mindset, you don't want to just follow and conform to the norm, which I'm not actually condemning at all. I think if you want to have a 9 to 5 and you want to be a mom or you want to be a dad, I think that's amazing. In fact, sometimes I'm jealous of people who just are happy and wanting that and they make that their life. But we all want for different things. So,
Yeah, well, we definitely need all those people to reproduce and raise children and, keep the species going while we make music.
Which you can do both, of course. A lot of people do, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and I've got a couple of kids, and one of the things is that's really important to me, actually. And so I was trying to think about like, well, what can I do that's like related to music, but where it doesn't necessarily take me out of town and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's where I came up with doing this show. It's something I can do right from here. I can work it around whatever schedule. So that's amazing. Yeah, it's been really fun for that reason. But yeah, the cookie cutter thing never worked for me. I had kind of a similar situation to you where I had the main house, I had the vacation house, I had the sports car, I had, all the income and everything like that. And none of it was really moving the needle for me,
It's materialistic. I always find if people have these, they believe that having the car or having the house or having the materialistic item, whatever it is, the clothes, will make up for the internal happiness, but it doesn't. So you need to be internally satisfied before you can be externally satisfied, in my opinion. I think because a lot of people are so overconsumed by what they think. Like, money is one of the big things. It's great. We all need it to survive, and it definitely can buy you the things, but realistically, no amount of money is going to make you happy if you're not happy within. So, God, we're getting so deep here.
No, but this is conversations. This is what I do on this show. I get deep. Like, we're living right now. This is living. So I agree with everything you're saying, and I would add that it really helps when you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with your life. Meaning you've found meaning, you've found purpose. I don't know if contentment can come without those. Those seem like prerequisites to contentment. And I always encourage people to seek contentment instead of happiness, because happiness is, it's very elusive to you can chase happiness all your life, but contentment, I think you can actually get. And that's kind of what I heard on your dream board is hey, I'm doing what I love. I have purpose. I have meaning in my life. Here are the sort of material things that would, this is what I would do with my contentment. I would have a house on the beach and I would enjoy it every day. And I would look out at that ocean and just be like, yeah, there's an ocean out there, and
yeah, completely. And also, not that it is on my dream board, but I really want to help people. I want to, to me, I don't need a whole lot of money to ever really have what I want in life. I'm a very kind of simple living, don't need much. But I really want to be able to just give back. I did it as a child growing up and stuff. I used to give towards charities and stuff. And I just, I just love to help people. I do get a lot of people who approach me and ask me for advice and different things. And I love nothing more than sitting down with somebody who I know is going to take it in and actually use it. Because there's one thing in people questioning what I do, but it's one thing somebody who's actually interested in wanting to change their life, and whether it be nutrition or health or whatnot, because I could sit and talk for days. So if anybody does ever want any information, and what I do may work for me but not for everybody else, so all I can do is give any advice that I can, but that's something I love to do. So I'd love to hold, eventually have seminars. I'm no Tony Robbins or anything like that, but I love that kind of just being able to help people. To me, you don't even, it's not necessarily having to give money over to the poor. I mean, if you can just give yourself. And that's why I think I love music so much, because a lot of people, have contacted me before, or I've done songs that aren't online and it's resonated with somebody to a point where they're like, wow, you really touched me. And I'm like, that to me, that's success. Success to me isn't making $1 million. It's actually touching the souls of people and actually interacting. So when you asked at the beginning, about the people, and that to me, I love being involved with anybody who wants to be involved with what I've got to do or say. So
yeah, that makes complete sense. And well, charity that's another interesting narrative, that charity has to look a certain way. I think there's some of that too, because I agree with, I think what I heard you say, and this is what I think as well. I don't think you have to go anywhere or have a lot of money or any of that to make a difference. I think you can make a difference right where you are with whoever's around you, and let that ripple out. Yeah. I don't have to fly halfway across the world to feed hungry children. That would be cool. If that's your thing, go do that. But I don't think it's any less valid to be right here and do my thing and be giving in my own way.
Right.
But a lot of people, they need it to have an outward kind of look. It needs to be something they can put on Instagram, you know?
Yeah, and that's the world, unfortunately, we live in. We live in a very fake world, if you want to put it, like full of filters. And I'm just like, you know what? In fact, the most successful people don't tend to ever say what they do. They just give quietly, and or they just do things because they want to, not because it's going to go online and they're going to get 1 million likes for it. You know, because a lot of people, we're all guilty of it probably in this day and age, but a lot of people feel like they're socially accepted by however many likes they have, and that's really sad, because if that's the kind of validation that you kind of need to feel like you're a part of something, you need to detract away from that and maybe just look at who you surround yourself with. And, you know, I think, again, that comes from internal happiness and confidence. If you yourself feel like you can do a difference without having to go online and brag about it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's one thing going online and, you know, making sure that people are aware of what you're doing, if it's a good cause or it's a song. But then there's a fine line between that and then trying to make something look like it's, hey, I've been there. We've been there even when we were in the depths of between labels and stuff in the band, and we were so broke and literally living out plastic bags, but you put on an outfit, you smile, and it looks like you're rolling in millions. And so that's the thing. My biggest advice to people is don't get too consumed by what you see online and what, you know, what appears to be on the outset. You know, couples all the time take pictures and they're arguing behind the scenes. So, you know,
that's a good note. That is a good note. We've gotten to the meaning of life in this interview. I really enjoy that.
Who's come on and they're like, what are they talking about?
Well, hey, but this is a side of Clare Cunningham that maybe some fans didn't know about. So
probably didn't know. I know.
Yeah.
I know the closest to me know I'm into all of this, but it's a big passion of mine. I just, you know, but it's not like, again, if anybody wants to know how I got here or did that, look, I've been in a few dark places in my life, and so I decided, you know what, I need to focus on my health, and that being mental health as well. And so I got some great tools, and I decided to really work hard at it. But I am the kind of person who's driven and will do that. I do realize that not everybody is as, you know, forthcoming in their, you know, in their process of, I don't know, just getting up in the morning, going to the gym, or in food. Like you said, it can take, but once you get into it, you know, and you can feel the benefits of it, it's a routine then. So it just becomes natural.
Yeah, I got to do that 30-day transformation thing that you were talking about. Yeah,
some of those, right? Yeah,
I need that. Well, so
that kind of thing, just lifestyle change more than on a quick note. When people are talking about diets or doing these quick challenges, that's all well and good, and your body will, you know, you'll see results really fast. However, if it's not sustainable, you're only going to go back to what you were. So my biggest advice to anybody who wants to change up anything in their life is try and do a lifestyle change rather than a quick turnover of like
a boot camp type.
Yeah, exactly. Because you will see results there. If it's only short term you want it, if you need to fit into a certain pair of pants or a dress or something, fine. But, you know, realistically, humans and our brains aren't designed to for restriction. So therefore, when you do that, it'll have a quick result, but it's not sustainable. And that's why when people say, oh, that diet didn't work, no diet ever does, because diets are not sustainable. They're only short-term processes. So just try and have a lifestyle change in what you can do. And then you can make it a daily occurrence. So it's not stop, start kind of thing.
That sounds right. Yeah. Choose something sustainable. So let's come in for a little bit of a landing here. We're gonna start our descent. I have
seatbelts.
I have a lightning round of questions that I like to ask everybody. But before I do that, have we covered everything you were hoping to talk about? Did we miss any topics that we should cover?
I don't believe so. I really wasn't really sure what it would, I've checked out a couple of the interviews, and again, I didn't overlook them because I was like, oh, then I'll start thinking of maybe what's going to be asked or whatnot. So I like the whole natural kind of thing. So this has been really awesome because it's not in interviews, it's always the same questions, and a lot of people who already know me I've already heard all the stories, so this has kind of been really nice because I think they'll get to see a side. They're
cool. I hadn't even thought about that perspective of you having gone through a lot of interviews before. So my hope is that this one was kind of not an interview, No,
it wasn't at all. It was like a chat between two friends, and we've never met or anything. So this is awesome. Yeah, it is. It's, I don't get the opportunity to do something like this very often. But if anybody, of course, has any questions or wants to know musically, whatever, I think I put on my website anyway, onto the comments and stuff like that. But musically for now, anyway, I'm in Nashville and I'm doing a lot of co-writing with amazing people. And I will be. This is my year that I'm gonna hopefully get in the process of getting some more stuff out, and you'll see more new sides of me, I think, this coming year.
Love it. Well, as we're moving through the lightning round questions, which sometimes don't go as quick as lightning, but if anybody's still in the comments and they have some questions that we didn't get to answer, just put them in the comments again.
I'm like, I can't hear you.
Where'd that go?
There you go.
There we go. Now I'm back, right?
I thought you pressed like something like you were DJ because it was going against.
Yeah, I think this audio equipment it seems to fritz out right about now in every interview. That's strange. I'm gonna stop calling these interviews because they're not even interviews. They're just I don't know what we're doing. But
it's like a podcast, right? This is like a kind of
It is. It's just a chat. But anyway, what I did say before the audio before it went out or after it went out, I guess I said, Clare Cunningham, are you ready for the lightning round?
I was born ready for the lightning round.
Okay, let's do the lightning round. First question of the lightning round, Clare. The only way to get on Unsynd is to be called out by somebody who's been on Unsynd. You got called out by Allie, and now it's your turn to call out 3 people who you think are doing something interesting or compelling or whatever in the area of music. Call out 3 people you'd like to invite to be interviewed on Unsynd to come chat just like you have.
So my 3 are 3 co-writers. They're amazing friends of mine as well. So we have Rhonda Funk. That is her real name, people. Rhonda Funk. Like, aren't you born to be on stage with that name? So Rhonda is amazing. You're going to love her. She's wicked. So we've got Rhonda Funk. We have Joe Dismore, who he's an ex-vet. And he is just one of the most incredible soulful voices. He plays piano. He's just ridiculously good. So I've written a few tunes with Joe. He's really awesome too. And then Colin Rowe, a great friend of mine. We pretty much write weekly. Colin is the one I'm doing a lot of the pop R&B stuff with. He is wicked voice wise. Like, he's just out of this world. So I'm so excited if those three can get on this show, because they are totally deserving of it, and you're gonna love them too. So yeah, that's
awesome. So okay, so wait, so name them again, because I'm trying to find the list written down, but I can't find it right now. So
I know, didn't even think of looking through it again. So Rhonda Funk, Colin Rowe, and then Joe Dismore.
Rhonda Funk, Colin Rowe, Joe Dismore, you three have been called out to come join Unsynd, sit down and chat with us, tell us what you're doing, hang out for a while. With any luck, we'll be able to get Claire to pop in and say hi on Skype, just like Allie did today. That was fun. So yeah, cool, awesome. That's perfect. And I will please make sure that you tag them in the comments, because I have a heck of a time getting a hold of people. Like if there's not some tag or something, it's almost impossible. Yeah.
Well, I'm that type of person. I'm going to do it for you right now. Okay. So
as we're doing that, lightning round question number 2 is coming your way. Here it is. This is the dream call out. This is the person, if you heard them on Unsynd, it would absolutely blow your mind that you're listening to this person or watching this person on Unsynd. Past dream call outs have been people like Bruce Springsteen, Shania Twain, Celine Dion, Lil Uzi Vert, Billy Corgan, Rick Astley, Trent Reznor, the guy from Macklemore. What the heck is his name? Anyway.
The Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, is it? What's his name?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, but people like that, right? People much too busy to come on Unsynd, probably. But unless they actually knew what it was. Here's what I really believe, though, Claire. I think that if a major artist, who was like currently, really busy and everything, if they knew what Unsynd was really about, I think there would be a way better chance of them coming on than if it was like, oh, come for another interview, a media interview of some kind, right? So anyway, if we can get this, whoever you're going to call out, if we can get this person to come on Unsynd, I'm having you come back and co-host the episode with me, okay? So who is your dream call out?
When I saw this, I was like, oh my God, there's so many people I could choose right now. But for me, and especially just being in Nashville, Mr. Chris Stapleton. For me, because, this gentleman is just a gentleman who, I don't know, he came again from pretty much just living in his car and playing music, and his voice. Not many things move me in life, voice-wise. Like, it takes a lot for me to go, whoa. And I followed Chris in his Steel Driver days as well. And nowadays he's more kind of known, and it might be very generic to have said him, but I'm saying it from a point where, like, the Chris Stapleton before he was even Chris Stapleton, if that even makes sense.
That guy.
That guy. I just, as an all-rounder, I think he's no BS. He gets on stage. He doesn't have all the fancy lights and the stage theatrics. He sings from the heart, which is something that I do, and I love. And there's not just Chris Stapleton. There's a million artists out there who do too, and many new ones that I've come across since my time here. But he's got a soul to him that I believe is just so pure and natural. And I absolutely, there's nothing he just oozes amazingness,
Chris Stapleton, you have been called out as a dream interview on Unsynd. Come share your wisdom with independent artists all over the world. Let us know what you think about it. And also be warned, you might be the picture on Claire's dream board. It sounds like...
Well, he actually is on my goal list of somebody I want to support. So, yes.
Yes. Okay, anyway... Mr. Stapleton, Mr. Chris Stapleton, you have been called out. So we'll tag him in the comments. He'll get right back to us, I'm sure. And hey, one of these times though, it's going to happen, and we're going to get somebody on here.
I feel it for you.
Yeah, we're going to get someone on here who has that kind of like present day juice, you know, and that's going to be a really fun day when that happens.
It does happen.
So okay, lightning round question number 3. Here's this is a good one for you. This is a good one for everybody, but I'm really interested in how you answer this. What do you think people misunderstand about you?
So on the outset, I don't know if people can see, but I am covered in tattoos, and I have probably what you might call a unique style. I don't know. So people misunderstand that I'm actually as deep thinking and as I want to say nice, because I think people always look at somebody like a book and they judge it by its cover. So I'm sorry, but if you judge me by my cover, then you're going to be heavily I
get what you're saying though. Yeah, like
you're really like that. Yeah.
When I first saw your webpage and even just during the sound check in person, I was kind of wondering what kind of personality goes with this package that I'm seeing here, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do think that, and again, that's another reason why I like to engage with people, because then they get to know you as the person. And with me, what you see is what you get. I cannot be fake. I don't do generic lines, and I can't. I am who I am. And if you like me, fabulous. If you don't, I don't really care. So.
And that's what I love about this show is there's plenty of time to, completely explain what you're thinking and, just all the nuance that we kind of lack in normal media. So cool. Okay. I love that answer. And it's I was just talking about this yesterday. So I've asked a lot of people this very question, and almost everybody's answer is some version of feeling underestimated in some way. And that's interesting to me that it's becoming clear now that feeling underestimated is I guess common, a common feeling. And it's interesting to know that. I do want to actually ask one lightning round question that I had retired, but I think it's a good one for you.
Yeah, go on.
I retired it because almost everybody's answer is universally the same, and I'll share that after you answer. But here's the scenario. Let's say you woke up tomorrow and the world was the same as it is, except nobody knew you and you didn't know anybody. And you hadn't done any of the stuff you've done. Okay, so you can still have your songs, meaning just a journal of songs, right? But you never made an album. You never went on. None of that ever happened to you. Nobody knows you. No connections. It's just you sitting on your couch. Can you put together a 7-day? What would you do in the next 7 days to start putting your life on track?
Ooh, that's a good question. And people can see that you're on a couch, but people.
Well, no, you are yourself, but nobody knows your name and you don't have any connections. I want to take all of that advantage away, right? But you can still have your talent and you can still have your experience.
Well, I kind of feel like I have done this in real life, like many times. When I moved to the UK, I moved to Sweden, and now I moved here. And all I've ever done, and what I would do, is just get myself out there, introduce myself, be as open and friendly as I can, invite people to eat some good food, and then literally sit down and vibe off of people, and then slowly kind of work my kind of songs or whatever it is to try. Like obviously in a week it's kind of hard, but I think just by having, I think the best way to get to know people is just gather around people and have, an actual conversation or a gathering. That to me, I'm big into like socializing. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. And if I had a guitar, I'd sit down and share some of the music with them, of course. But yeah, I through life have had that. So I've had to like move places and know nobody, like not one single person. So I've been there 3 times now. And so I kind of just, my way of doing it is just going in somewhere and just being me. I think that's the number one thing I would do. I used to conform depending on what was around me. So if I'm around really politically correct, prude type of people, I tend to be a little more like in my shell and watch what I would say. Not anymore. So I just go all the hell's blazing into wherever it is. And people open up. If you're like that, if you're like, the more open you are and the more
real,
you can get at people will, I've seen it happen with the most, politically correct, kind of very, well-dressed kind of, they come out of their shells because you are. So, as humans, we have a facade that we kind of interact with people how we see them. So I think I would have a good time, and a little bit of whiskey or something wouldn't go amiss, because the truth always comes out when alcohol is brought to the table. So I think it's, if you want to get to know somebody, have a drink with them.
I like that. There's a song going around Nashville called "Beer with Jesus." Have you happened to?
I don't think, who sings it?
Let's see. Red Aiken's son. What's his name? Is it Rodney Aikens? I actually don't. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know Red Aiken's son's name. But anyway, he's the one who cut it. But a guy named Rick Huckabee is the guy who wrote it with, I think, a couple other people, and I don't know their names because I haven't met them, but I met Rick Huckabee. Anyway, Huckabee sings his version of "Beer with Jesus." Like you'll find it at Tin Pan or something like that, and it is just the most genuine song about, if I could have a beer with Jesus, I'd ask him some serious questions, and it's a good song. So having a drink does. Yeah. And I promised you I would tell you how everybody else answered the question. Everybody else answers some form of networking. You have to go out, you have to get up off the couch and leave and go out and connect with people somehow. Otherwise, thanks, Thomas Rhett, Joe Dismore just said.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
That's who's going to be coming on your show.
Yeah, I was just going to say, isn't that the guy who just got called out?
Yeah. And Rhonda's watching. I can see. Hi, Rhonda.
Oh, you done got called out. Oh, Rhonda's in here too?
Yeah, so I put their names. I put Rhonda, Joe, and Colin's names down. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's a short way of getting somebody in the conversation.
So Rhonda and Joe, just to catch you guys up, you've been called out to come sit and chat, just like we're doing right now. And this is a show about independent artists and what we're trying to do to figure it all out. So, okay, Claire, final lightning round questions. This is the last question in the interview. Then we can go pee or do whatever we need to do.
You know what? I was just gonna say, kind of need the bathroom.
Yeah, we're there. We've arrived. Final lightning round question. Unsynd is still young. Our audience is still growing. You've done me a huge favor by coming on today. So thank you so much for doing that. Here's the question for you. Think down the road, like a year from now. If you decide to come back on Unsynd and check in with us in a year from now, what do you think is going to be different in your life? What do you think we're going to be talking about?
we are going to be talking about how I am on tour with Chris Stapleton. No, but I'm this year. I want to. I'm going to want to split my time. I know I want to say this so that it's recorded and goes out into the. But I definitely see myself splitting my time between Nashville and probably LA. Having a lot of success, or having an artist cut one of my more kind of poppy songs, and then I'm an artist myself, of course, but I'm going to drop a Celtic either EP or album, and I'm going to say this in advance, and hopefully in the law of attraction, because he's a massive law of attraction person himself. Conor McGregor is going to walk into the ring to a Celtic song of mine. That's the goal and hope there too. So we might be talking about that, that I'm going to Vegas watching, I've seen him actually in Vegas, but this time, instead of walking into Sinead O'Connor, he'll be walking into Clare Cunningham. So that would be awesome. But
I like Conor McGregor. I think he's a good sportsman for the most part, and yeah, controversial, but it's intentional,
Oh yeah, there's a certain amount of that too. He kind of plays up on it a lot. Yeah. But again, the one thing I'll say about Conor is that, again, I know from living not far from where he grew up. He grew up in a pretty, there's not a lot of maybe money or things. He came from nothing. Like, he worked his absolute butt off, and so people can say what they do now. Yeah, maybe money has made him like whatever, but the guy worked hard. You cannot take that away from him. He and what I like about Conor, and what I like, this is why I'm like this, and I think our culture, we say something, we do it. It's not like having a meeting about having a meeting. Like, if you say you're going to do something, you'll do it. So it's the commitment, putting yourself and being prepared. Like, he was prepared, because he put in all the groundwork prior to his success. Because a lot of people, when they get to know you, they only see the successful you. They don't see the behind the 30 years you put in before that. So that's another thing. If people can take away from this conversation or whatever, don't be so quick to judge people for who they are at that moment in time. Maybe delve a little into their past and see why they were so successful. Unless it's a show, and I'm not going to name any of them, but that give instant success to somebody, then a lot of people have worked very hard in whatever career that they have to get to where they are. So
Taylor Swift is my favorite person to pick on in that regard, because nobody gives it to her, but she worked so hard. She worked so hard to get where she was. So anyway, it's true. This has been amazing. We're going to definitely look forward to talking again in a year. And if you have some updates prior to that, I don't think you have. That was just part of the question. You don't have to wait a year to come back and talk again. But this has been awesome. I feel really good about this interview. Do you feel okay too?
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's been really, really, really cool to chat, and I hope I haven't talked the ears off you. I know I'm a bit of a talker, so I'm sorry about that. But
no, I think everybody loved what's going on here. So again, Clare Cunningham, thanks for sitting down and chatting today. We're gonna put all the links in there, and tag you and everything like that. In case anybody is interested, I think you already put your link in there, but the official website, ClareCunninghammusic.com. We'll put all of it in there though. So Clare, it's been awesome. Let's close it out right now. I'm Ben Alvery. That is Clare Cunningham. And together we're saying tune out, everybody.